Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Rose. How are you? Good morning, Ritinaha Pereira, MRP. How are you? Good morning. Is that the Philippines flag? What flag is that? Hi, Moku Kanakaua. This is the morning forecast, so I don't do private, personalized readings this morning, but I appreciate the share, Moku. This is the forecast for everybody, so this reading is intended for everybody as a collective. If you want a personal card, then I would attend one of the charm nights on Wednesday or Friday at 7:30 Central Standard Time, my time. That's Texas time. I don't know where you are in the world, but if you tune in then, I do cards for new people then, and I know I've not ever pulled a card for you then. I know I've not ever pulled a card for you. I would remember your name, so you could tune in then, and I could pull a card for you at that time. That's when I do that for people. Right now, I'm just sharing the groups. That's why I'm not paying attention to the camera. So just give me a moment. Sorry, guys. Kind of out of it this morning. It's really gray and cold here today. And I think I'm not waking up. Like, I feel really. I've been up since about 5 this morning. But I just feel very tired this morning. I've had coffee and everything. And I just feel. I think it's this cold weather. We must really be shifting into winter. Because I'm feeling it. Like, I just want to hibernate a little bit. I can feel the drop of energy. Not in a bad way, just like it just feels slower, like moving slower and wanting to just kind of not shut down, but like just be quiet and spend time alone. That sounds so grinchy, but I'm really not a Grinch, I promise. It's just sort of sometimes, oh, I can hear the cats opening the cabinets, those little pricks. I can hear the cabinet doors swinging open. Oh, they're such brats. They know. The minute I start talking in here, they know. It's like, oh, he's busy for the next, half hour. Let's tear shit up. They like kick into high gear the minute they hear me talking. They're so funny. I'll just go and close all the. And then the other thing, I find like the weirdest stuff everywhere now. Like I found um, something from underneath the sink. I think it doesn't matter. This is just personal stuff. I'm just sharing it. I don't even really need to be sharing it. I should pay attention to what I'm doing. I found this funny little piece of cloth on the floor here in the office. The office door was closed, and I opened the office door, and the cloth was on the floor. And this cloth was underneath the sink in the kitchen. The sink cabinet wasn't open, so I don't know when they got it out of there, at what point in time. It was probably weeks, months ago, or whatever, and then they might have had it stashed somewhere under a piece of furniture, and then they brought it somehow into the office and I didn't see it. Either that or I certainly have ghosts moving shit around, but I don't think that's true. So, it's just funny to me because they're always getting into something. Always. Even when I don't know it. And then later, I think they get up to stuff at night while I'm asleep and they move stuff around, or find stuff, and then I find it later. Does that make sense? I don't know. Cats are crazy. I love them to death, but they're just so. They're always like up to something. My dogs are not. My dogs are super chill. They kind of just hang out and don't really get into it unless maybe if we're outside or whatever they do stuff. Did I share there already? I'm so bad at this. It's like I have no memory. I think I'm almost done. Just 1 second, guys. Sorry. I didn't put on any music, I realized this morning. Oh well. We can fly without music today, right? Okay. I think that's shared out. And if it's not, Maybe it wasn't the cats. I know. Maybe. Thank you, Anne, for sharing. Good morning, Christina Avalos. How are you? Maybe it wasn't the cats. I don't know. Where's the piece of fabric? It's this little thing, and I'm pretty sure that this was underneath the kitchen sink because it's for cleaning, um, like metal. You know, it's for like the cleaning of the fridge, and I'm pretty sure this was under the kitchen sink. The kitchen sink that I don't think the door has been open, or I've had to close underneath the kitchen sink door because there are some chemical things under there, and it makes me nervous about the cats getting in there because they open some of the other lower cabinets. But I literally found this inside the office on the floor with the door shut. So I don't think I noticed it when I walked out, and it was in there like right in the pathway, and I was like, that's weird. How did the cats get this? Like, did they bat it underneath the door and it slid across the floor into the office? I'm not sure, but whatever. Who knows? Or maybe it is a ghost. Who the hell cares, really? Like, I certainly don't. I'm just, it is what it is. I'm like, oh, great, another weird thing. So, hi, Andy Raziel Finn. I love the name Raziel. That's an archangel's name. That's beautiful. Good morning, Lisa Vanderhelm. How are you? Good morning, Karen. How are you? Let's get to doing, hey, good morning, Ducky. Let's get to doing the breathing work really quick. If you don't mind joining me, if you want, let's just get centered. Let's get comfortable in our chair, straighten out our back, bring our hips underneath our sternum. There's a squirrel in the tree. Squirrel! All right. And we know the drill, and for those of you that don't, just sort of join in if you feel so inclined. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth, holding the breath at the top of the breath, just to sort of allow that oxygen to permeate our brain and our bloodstream, bringing ourselves into, this present moment as best we can. So let's take in that first breath. Inhale and hold. Emanate that light. Start to set your chakras into like alignment. Just intend for it to be. You don't have to struggle with it. And release. You can do the call back your energy exercise if you feel so inclined. Giving thanks on the release of that first breath, giving thanks to the body, bringing the body into alignment and acknowledgement, into a space of gratitude for the body. Just saying hello to the body, giving it a little bit of love. Let's take in that second breath. And hold. Emanating that light and lining those chakras up, setting them at optimum spin for today. Release that breath. Giving thanks for the mind and all that it does. All the thoughts that it has and the wonderings that it muses over. Bringing that mind in line with that body. Seeing them in appreciation and in support of one another. Let's take in that third breath. And hold. Emanate that light out past the edges of your body into your auric field. Any last minute touches to your chakras. Balance your pyramid. And release. Giving thanks to the spirit or the soul for all that it does for us. Its magic, both that we're aware of and that we're not aware of, and seeing that spirit or soul sort of lined up with that body and that mind, right? The 3 components kind of working in ease and grace in support of one another. I kind of see them as like embracing each other or holding hands with each other and walking in a circle, like a ring around the rosies. Or like just sort of coming into balance with one another. So important that we do this. We acknowledge all 3 from a space of gratitude. Even if we lose this space of gratitude throughout the day, that's fine. But we want to acknowledge it, and the more that we do this, the more that becomes stronger within us. And the more that we operate from this place, the more that we find the ease of returning to this place when we need to, right? And when you're ready, if any of you did a call back of energy, finish that up, and when you're ready, open your eyes and join me. We are now at Monday, the 9th of December, guys. Let's see what the energy is. Yesterday's reading was really lovely. I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see what the cards have in store for us this week. I'm feeling rather inspired. I think it's just because, I finished those tarot scopes for 2020, and I'm happy about that. I'm really inspired to try and get a pick a card up before the end of the year. I was actually up this morning looking at decks and picking decks for the next pick a card. So, and I actually purchased a few decks off of my wish list because there's some pick a cards that I want to do in the near future that I need the decks off of there. So that will be coming your way. And right now I'm shuffling for and asking Spirit for the card for today, December 9th. For those of us that are watching and those of us that may tune in at any point in the future, what do we need to know? Oh, thank you. Lisa Vanderhelm on Facebook says they were great, Dan, so on point. Thank you. I thought that it was a really lovely reading. It kind of surprised me. I was sort of like a little... And I don't necessarily feel like I had anything to do with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the cards just felt really beautiful. So all I did was shuffle. I felt like the message was sort of, coming from somewhere else. It was really lovely. So I'm really grateful for that. To Spirit for that sort of inspiration. Oh, nice. Alright, this is a new card to us, but we are, we just started working with this deck. So let's look here. I'm going to flip the camera for you guys. One moment. Whoops, that looks a little bit wonky. I'm way off. I moved my computer, sorry. Okay, so this is the King of Wands, which is definitely a nice card to have today. Wands deals with the element of fire and the element of spirit, right? And each of these, with this deck, which this is the Rust Belt Arcana deck that I got from Etsy. If you're interested in knowing more about this deck, you can look at its unboxing video on my YouTube page. In there is a link to, the video shows you a little bit more about the deck, and then in there is a link to where to purchase the deck on Etsy. But it's made, the reason why I chose this deck is that and why I've paired these two decks together is one is very feminine empowered and one is very masculine empowered. This deck was made by two men, and I just sort of like the idea of that. You don't see a lot of, I don't know, I just feel like there's more women around readings, tarot, that sort of thing. So I like when men do stuff, so I want to support that. And I like it, it's a nice sort of balance. And both are very nature-based decks in their own way. So anyways, their court cards all have particular people, which this is Joseph Campbell, and he is the Power of Myth. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he did the Power of Myth. And so this says, sit in a room and read, and read, and read, and read the right books by the right people. Your mind is brought onto that level, and you have a nice, mild, slow burning rapture all the time. Interesting. So when I think about the King of Wands, to me this is about being in control. This is about being connected to spirit. This is about being in a place of authority. Remember when we saw yesterday, we had that beautiful Ace of Cups card, which was an emotional sort of inspirational, like healing card. It was about blooming, growing, owning our beauty from an emotional place. To me, this, if we are doing that, or if we are focusing on that over today, tomorrow, maybe even Wednesday, Wednesday, because today's Monday. If we're kind of keeping that focus, I feel like that opens the door for this sort of spiritual connection that we have here in this King of Wands, right? And the King of Wands is this sort of authority of his own spirit and sort of the creator of his own kingdom, so to speak. He surveys everything and sort of rules over it. So there's a confidence that we might find that we have today. There's a connection to self that is stronger, a deeper connection to self that is strong today and beautiful. I like that it says sit in a room and read and read and read and read and read and read the right books by the right people. So like basically what it's saying is, absorb things like a sponge, but make sure that you're absorbing the stuff that sort of makes sense to you on a spiritual level, right? You don't necessarily have to take on anybody else's information that doesn't really work for you. That's the sort of king aspect of this card. And then it says here, your mind is brought onto that level, and you have a nice, mild, slow burning rapture all the time. So that's kind of a cool idea, the idea of having this sort of rapture within ourselves, this sort of, the idea of spiritual rapture is sort of like falling in love with God or being moved to such a degree that it's undeniable. And so with this King of Wands, it's like we can have our own personal rapture within ourselves on a spiritual level every day, or at least today, certainly with this card here. I like that there's like, this looks to me like there's, I'm not sure what these are. These look like they might be walnuts, and this might be lemons. And to me, when I think of walnuts are like, they sort of look like the brain. And the lemons kind of, again, it's sort of like a fruit sustenance sort of thing that I was seeing with the hibiscus yesterday with the tea, like sort of nourishing yourself, giving yourself the nourishment that you need, and honoring yourself in a very, I don't know, like just when I'm looking at this card, it's about sort of respecting ourselves, giving ourselves the ability to have the authority and the connection to ourselves, and not necessarily sacrificing that or letting that go for anybody else. Educating ourselves in some ways about that. That's the whole reading aspect of this card, but I would say holding on to that. I don't know, not holding on to that, but like holding on to what we know, and then finding sources and areas of education or validation that like sort of coincide with what we already know to be true. Does that make sense on a spiritual level? I hope that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm off today. I am feeling really tired, but I feel like this is a beautiful card to have. It is the energy of fire, so I would say today would be a good day to be assertive in a way, or go after the things we want. Do it from a place of knowledge, definitely. Do it from a place of authority, of self-respect, self-esteem. I also feel like this pairs well with that midweek card of justice. It's like us sort of shifting our perception of ourselves into this place of authority, it being a king card, and really feeling that at a deep level with it being the suit of wands, or the element of fire and spirit. So I would stick with that, or keep focused on that today. We are the creator of our own existence. We are the creator of our own awareness. So when I look at this quote, it's sort of like we get to pick and choose the sort of what we take in, what we want to learn about, what we want to focus on, and find the things that sort of validate that or back that up or are in agreement to that. Doesn't mean that you're not teachable. Yeah, cough that up there, Tallulah. Right now, while Daddy's on video. That's good, girl. Work up that movie. It doesn't mean that, you can't remain teachable, but I also think that we have the knowledge within us. That's kind of this King of Wands. At a deep spiritual level, we already have the knowledge. Oh, beautiful. So this is that follow my heart. And I love this because this kind of also brings me back to that place of the healing card that we had yesterday, which is the Ace of Cups, right? Where when I look at her body, she has this water here going across her body. Oh, and I forgot to read the little phrase. It says, like a rainbow trout, I choose to move against the current so I can move forward. So, when I look at this water here, this is all about the emotions, which we saw yesterday in that Ace of Cups. So this is sort of the lingering underneath. This like mirrors that energy of that Ace of Cups, which is that healing. And this rainbow trout that is going against the current that they're talking about in this card, it's also around her heart-centered space, right? This King of Wands to me feels like we have the authority and the ability to be sort of assertive in what we know to be deeply true to ourselves. And we can also feel that from our heart and follow our heart, right? And these two paired together to me is a strength of not only emotion, but also a strength of spirit, an awareness of spirit, and this sort of emphasis on like, educating ourselves and reading the right books to have the small rapture, to have the small knowing, to have that understanding of who we are and what we know to be true, and to acknowledge and validate that for ourselves, either from ourselves on our own or through like other ways of educating ourselves is important today, is key today. This is about listening to ourselves, and I think that this, if we act on these two sort of cards, we have this balance again of the masculine and the feminine, which is funny because I brought that up about choosing these two decks, and then we have this male here and this female here. I feel like if we acknowledge both sides of ourselves, if we treat ourselves with both sides with respect, we acknowledge both the emotional and the spiritual and what we know to be true, we can have sort of a rapturous sort of, or little mini raptures throughout the day, or mini awakenings, awarenesses, and swim against the current with a little bit more ease. Standing here, she's sort of standing here in, again, like a lot of these women are depicted as nude, if not all of them maybe, but I love that they are naked and vulnerable, yet they are strong in who they are, and they're both sort of staring. He's not necessarily staring directly at us, but I love that they're both sort of facing towards us, not facing in any left or right direction, which is sometimes towards the future or the past for me. But to me, I mean, he's facing a little bit towards the future, but she's facing us dead on. And so to me, this is very present moment face here, where he's a little bit like focused on the future, but that's okay. He's spiritually driven. And our spirit, to me, in my mind, doesn't necessarily live on the exact same timeline as we do, anyways. Sometimes our spirit is in the background working on our future plan, whether we're aware of it or not. So today would be a good day to be aware of that and connect with that, these two aspects of ourselves, and kind of blend them together. And in doing that, we're sort of honoring ourselves, I feel like, on a couple of different, levels. At the level of spirit, at the level of emotion, at the level of our emotions, at the level of our feminine aspect, at the level of our masculine aspect. And if we're acknowledging and sort of blending them, that brings about that healing that we saw in in the first card from yesterday, that hibiscus flower that was the Ace of Cups, which also ties into the emotions of this card, but and the water energy that's in this card. But also I see it sort of as a bridge. Like right now I'm seeing these two cards sort of bridging between that Ace of Cups and then that Justice card that we saw for the midweek. So we have these two cards for today, and quite possibly tomorrow's two cards, to see where they take us and what they have to say. But I think that this is sort of the bridging of those two cards we saw yesterday, right? So follow your heart today, and also feed your mind is kind of what I'm getting from this King of Wands. So like if there's any sort of like spiritual pursuit, or if there's any sort of I don't know, like you could meditate, you could reflect, you could find a book about something that interests you, that stimulates you on a spiritual level, or, but I feel like I want you to kind of, how do I want to say this, like when he's talking about choose the right books by the right people, like find a subject that you want to know about or something that you feel drawn to, and see as you're reading it, or as it doesn't even have to be a book, it can be a conversation that you're having with somebody. But as you have the conversation, listen to what you're saying, listen to the information you're exchanging, and you might find yourself rather surprised at what you do know, because like the king to me is an authority, right? The king is somebody that is grounded in who they are, and is able to take on the responsibility and the authority of being king. So this says to me that we have like this awareness that we want to bring to the forefront today and follow. And it's a very clear awareness and it's a very powerful awareness, and we need to acknowledge it and start to walk in it today. The grounding stone is embrace, and this is on carnelian. And so to me it brings us to the first chakra, which is about grounding in the color. The red color makes me think of the first chakra. And when I think about there's a couple of things as I'm looking at this on my computer screen. The embrace to me feels like between the masculine and the feminine of these two cards, like as if they turned towards each other and embraced each other. But I also feel like we need to embrace ourselves in all of our beautiful aspects, right? In both the masculine, the feminine, in the vulnerable, in the assertive, in the I don't. I just realized I don't have the chat up. I can't see what you guys are saying. Um, and in embracing all of these qualities about ourselves enables us to sort of live from this place of empowerment, right? And I don't necessarily get yes, the King of Wands is somewhat assertive and fiery, but I feel like this is a more, um, when he's saying sit in a room and read and read and read, right? It's sort of like we are being active in that, gaining knowledge about whatever it is we're reading. And I'm not saying we have to take that very literally, but to me it feels like more about educating ourselves in an active way, but doing it within ourselves for our own spirits and the feeding and the acknowledgement and the validation of that, right? And then following our heart is the more feminine energy today. We embrace both of those and we bring them together so that they may embrace and support one another. And as we do that, I think that there is a powerful acknowledgement, a powerful validation that we're giving to ourselves, right? That maybe we've been looking to the outside world for. We don't need to look outside of ourselves, right? We need to just find it within ourselves and embrace it, own it, and live from it. And I think that that's going to sort of bring about some of that healing that we saw in yesterday's reading. And it's also going to bring about a little bit of that justice that we're seeing in the midweek, right? Where where uh, where we start to really feel like we have an understanding of what we deserve and how we deserve it. And remember that Justice card is a major arcana card. So by midweek, if we're actually doing this work and we're not just listening to it and letting it like fall out of, go in one ear and out the other, if we are actually sort of honoring these aspects of ourselves um, and embracing them, then and bringing them together in support of one another, similar to like what we do with the breath work, picturing that, even if it's just for 5 minutes, that's 5 more minutes than we would have doing nothing, and that can be a very powerful 5 minutes that can actually sort of reset our energy and bring us into a place of uh, living empowered versus disempowered. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys. And that's the empowered part is this king, I feel like, right? This is this energy of this king. And by midweek, we're starting off with the masculinity of the king, and then this following of the heart is the more feminine energy. But by the midweek, we get into that justice card where she's a very authoritative feminine energy, right? She's a blending, or like if we get these two cards to embrace today, to come together, to blend together, and we appreciate them in that way, and we embrace them wholeheartedly, we create that space for that justice card to come in. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you guys. But good morning, Kathy. Have a great day. I'm going to leave you with that. I will see you guys, I don't know, tomorrow morning. I'm going to try, I'm not sure if I'm going to get the pick a card done today. I have the items out and I'm sort of picking things, but I'm trying to find the inspiration. I'm moving rather slow today. I'm not sure what's going on. I just feel sort of like my ass is dragging. Good morning, Andrew. How are you? Good morning, Regina. So yeah, I'm a little bit like, I don't know. I did pull decks though, so I have some of my decks pulled, and hopefully I'll get to that today. I feel really tired. I wonder what the there's anything with that Schumann resonance going on today. I've tended to notice when that thing is high, I get really tired. I don't know if there's any connection, but when I think it was Mary Lyman that reposted that to the group the other day, and I used to check that all the time when I was in Mexico, and whenever it was really like high, I was always like beat, like, and it didn't matter how much I slept. And so I kind of feel that way today, like just sort of like knocked out, and I've had 3 cups of coffee, and I'm just like, meh. Yeah, then rest, Ducky says. I better. I have to drive to Florida in, I don't know, a couple of weeks. No, I'll be fine by then. But it's not, I don't feel sick. I just feel really like, I meditated this morning and that felt good. But it feels really good to just sort of close my eyes and just think about nothing. I mean, like, nothing. Just sort of shut down. So I'm probably going to go grab Gus. He's on the... I'm going to go grab Gus. Right off of my meditation chair. They always seem to get in there after I'm in there. I don't know why. I totally think they're being opportunistic and jumping on the energy. That's my feeling. But I'm going to grab Gus, and I'm going to take him, and I'm going to put him under the covers, because he's like such a little warm heater. And I'm going to wrap the last 3 days. It's really weird. I mean, not bad weird, it's just I've been really, I don't know, just sleeping quite a bit. So, I am mellow. I'm very mellow this morning, Regina. I'm not sure what it is. So, it's not a bad thing. I don't think it's bad. It's just, I just sort of feel like, kind of like, I'm totally yawning right now. And I was asleep all night. I wasn't up super late or anything. Gus is always ready for bed. I swear I sometimes think it's their fault. They use Jedi mind tricks on me. All right, you guys. So that's Mellow Yellow, right? I am gonna go. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna hopefully get this pick a card out over the next few days. I really want to do it. I really want to do it. And I've gone and ordered some stuff off my wish list because I didn't want to wait. I'm gonna start doing some love readings. We'll see how those go. So I don't know if any of y'all are interested in that stuff, but I'm gonna try and do some predictive stuff around finding of relationships. Not that I necessarily care about that, but others seem to and want to know about that in their lives. So that's coming. We have some decks coming for that. All right, so you guys, I think is that what it is? Is there snow coming to DFW, William? I think that it's like really gray out and it's just not miserable. It just feels very introspective this morning. Like I just feel very like I want to cozy up. You're welcome. Are you okay with that, Andrew? Andrew's like, love readings. Yeah, we're going to do some love readings. They seem to be the thing that people want, and that I get a few emails about stuff about that, like people wanting to know about, am I going to find love? And I sort of did that a little bit with the 2020 predictives. So I think I'm going to do some pick a cards around love and all of that stuff, even though I don't necessarily, I spent so many years of my life like doing that, and then I realized that it's not about that. It's about self-love. And so I still work on self-love, but I know that other people really are desirous to know about that. And so if I can help them to figure that out for themselves, then great. So I'm going to try. New York is getting it Wednesday, snow. I can't believe we're going to get snow in Dallas-Fort Worth. I don't think I've ever been here for snow. Because I'm an hour southeast of Dallas. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we won't. That would be kind of cool, actually. I like snow. So it would be neat to see it. But maybe that's what's... I mean, look at me. I have been up for, now it's been 4 hours, but still, I'm just like really lazy bear today. And I don't know what that's about. I'm just like not feeling like my synapses are firing correct. So Ducky's so funny. She's like, yeah, Dan, I hope it snows. Think of Instagram pics. Oh my god, totally. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I just feel sort of like maybe it's the snow. I have no idea. I don't watch the weather, so I don't know ever what's coming or going or anything. So it would be kind of neat to get snow. Oh my god, I gotta stop yawning. I'm on my third cup. I haven't finished. I'm like halfway through my third cup of coffee, and it's just having no effect on me whatsoever. Throw a log on the fire. No, I know it won't stick, William, but it would be kind of fun just to watch it. You know? I don't know if maybe I need to go to Starbucks and get like a something to wake my butt up. I think I've picked my decks for this pick a card. The only thing is I have to do 5 piles in this pick a card. This is part 3 of those part 1 and part 2 about the keys to success, and then part 3 is all about these different boxes that I have, and they're going to be the markers for the piles, like as if they're the sort of the treasure, or what is the goal, like what is the, you know, what's in our the first 2 pick cards were all about where was our keys for success, how do we use them, and now this is supposed to represent like what is in there, like what depending on the box that you pick, the pile that's underneath it is sort of supposed to be like the gauge of what to expect from that success. What is the prize, the treasure that we get from that. But I have 5 boxes, so it's going to be a rather large pick a card to do. And I'm not 100% set on the decks yet. That's the problem. I was really pretty sure about the decks on the first 2, and I have some decks pulled, 4 decks, but I'm trying to figure out, it's like the tarot deck. I'm not sure exactly which one to use. I was thinking about using the Naked Heart, and then I was like, no, that's more, it just doesn't feel right. There might be one up there that I'm looking at, but I just don't know. I just feel like something's, I don't know. But I want to get this done before the end of the year because I think it's going to set the tone for the end of the year. And then maybe people will go back and rewatch all 3 and follow through their pick a card, through their stacks, and see if they make sense. It's been so long since the last one. The part 2 was done back in September. And I think that was the last pick a card I did. So I need to do one. All right, yeah. William McDonald's sleeping. I need Cuban coffee. Bustelo, it's high octane. I don't know if high octane is my thing, though. We'll see. It's just, I think it's the day. Like, I think, to be honest, it's the day. Maybe it's coming in off of all of those 2020 forecasts. I did do a mediumship reading for Ducky last night, but I don't think it's that. I just think that I'm tired. Like, I just feel tired. It just feels like the energy is, like, slow. Today it would be. What do you mean today it would be? I don't understand. I'm just like all chatting with you guys, just sitting here. All right, see you, William. Have a good day. I'm probably going to sign off too. I'm going to probably gather up Gus and go cuddle up. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow in the morning. Right? Yeah. Tomorrow in the morning. Oh, the high octane coffee. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like, maybe I got up too early this morning. I'm not exactly sure. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day, and I'm going to go probably lay back down. All right, bye.